Welcome to the Hilton Head Livin podcast. I am your host, O.T. Gibbons. Our mission with all of our content is to make sure you have the best time in Hilton Head. All the best places to go, all the biggest events going on, and everything you need to know to get the most out of your time on the island. I am joined as always by the star of our content, my beautiful wife and co-host, Jessica Gibbons. How you doing, Jess?
Hi.
All right, on this week's episode of the podcast, we're going to be talking about things going on this weekend in Hilton Head. We're going to be talking about our favorite new thing that we tried last week. And as always, we're going to answer the people. So with that, Jess, what's going on this week?
Starting on the 18th, Capricornucopia is taking place at the Big Bamboo in Coligny Plaza, beginning at 6 p.m. And there'll be live music performances, live and silent auctions, and Chris Rogers will be doing live paintings there too. And the proceeds help benefit the Boys and Girls Club on Hilton Head. On the 16th, Yappy Hour will take place at the Bluffton Nectar's outdoor patio, and it's a dog adoption event where proceeds from happy hour and their pet menu will help benefit the Hilton Head Humane. And obviously you can bring your own dogs and pets to join too. Then the Side Hustle Brewing Company will also be having a dog adoption event called Hops and Hounds on the 18th from 1 to 4 p.m. It's also a new beer release party. They'll be having raffles, a photo booth, local vendors, and a barbecue. And dog food, blankets, and pet supplies are welcome. And some upcoming events that we have, we mentioned in our last podcast for big spring events, is the Page Island benefit on February 23rd. Definitely a big to-do, lots of fun all day long on Page Island, which your transportation with a cruise there is provided in your ticket, and it helps benefit the Outside Foundation, and you can get your tickets through outsidefoundation.org. The Dine and Dance Sneaker Ball will take place on January 25th at the Port Royal Beach Club. Snow Day will also take place on the 25th at Shelter Cove Community Park. And Restaurant Week begins on the 25th and will go through February 1st. And then some upcoming news. The Nectar Hilton Head location has reopened. Woohoo! It's in a new location. So it's basically in the middle of the island. It took over, the restaurant was called Lucky Rooster. So it's also, I forget what the name of the shopping center is called, but it's where Island Bagel is, the Magic Comedy Cabaret is there too. A bunch of other little shops and restaurants. And One Hot Mama's is going to be taking over where Nectar was, right outside the Sea Pines gates. And then a new restaurant called Puppy Tequila is going to be going in where One Hot Mama's was in the Riley Plaza. So lots of fun new stuff.
And to stay up to date on everything happening on Hilton Head Island, make sure to go sign up for our newsletter. The link is in our bio on all our social medias. Okay, so that's everything going on in Hilton Head this week. Looking back to last week, Jess, what was your favorite new thing that you tried last week?
The weather has not exactly been ideal. It's been a little chilly lately, but we didn't get snow. The North got snow.
You didn't have to travel back to DC to shovel snow in like what was 11, it felt like it was 11 degrees, and the wind was blowing so hard. It was crazy. Every time I'd shoveled the snow, I was back in DC last week. It wasn't great.
I was complaining about how cold it was here because for here it was really cold. I luckily had ordered a long puffy winter coat since when we moved down here, I left mine in DC, and luckily it was on sale. I was like, there's a day or two it does get cold, and it's especially in the morning when I'm taking the dogs outside too. It's like, I don't really care how I look. I just need a warm, easy coat to put on. Thank goodness he came this past week because it was definitely cold and I needed it. But yeah, I was complaining it was cold, and he's like, I'm shoveling snow and the real feel is 11 degrees. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not there. But then it also snowed like just right above us. Like Charleston got snow, Georgia got snow. So, which not jealous. Not jealous. I don't need it. Anyways, there was one fairly warm day where my friend and I went to walk on the beach to find Holly, the wishing tree. So we've never been to it before. It's on Hickory Beach in Hilton Head Plantation, so where we live. And there is a very, very small parking lot. It's not even a parking lot. It's a little parking area. It fits maybe like 3 cars. But up the street a little bit, it looks like another parking spot for it. It looks like a trail through it. But as my friend and I were walking, a guy was in his backyard and was like, "You can't walk through here. The actual entrance is just down the street a little bit." So that was fun. I was like, really? Nobody else is here? But anyways, we went to the real parking lot. And it ended up being just a short little walk. We had no clue actually even which way to go. Luckily, I chose the right way. It's down and to the right. And it's not very far at all. And she's a little statue, I guess, a guy that used to be an architect on the island built this little kind of statue. I made a video, just put a video of it. And people go there, they put necklaces on her. There's little hooks. So you find shells with holes and you make a wish and you put your shell on the hooks. So that was a really fun and cute to find. And just a little bit further down, he also carved out this big wooden desk with a bench you can sit at. And on the desk are all these painted shells, which people just paint random things. Some do, like had a picture of somebody on it in loving memory kind of thing, RIP. So that was really sweet. And then the mailbox had journals inside of them that anybody can write in. So you can sit at the desk, you have this beautiful view of the ocean, nice and calm. You can write your thoughts down. You can, if however you're feeling that day, or it was pretty cool to find. And you can also, I know it's a private beach area. You can technically get to it from Fish Hall Beach. It's not that far, but you do need to go at low tide, because if it's high tide, you won't be able to make it over. Which we've learned that lesson of you. We definitely, once you live on the island, you learn you have to look at the tides for sure. So we learned that the hard way. And then, so what do we do? You didn't do anything. You were in DC shoveling snow.
Yeah, it wasn't great. Last week, had to go back. It is what it is. It was very cold. It snowed there. It was like the worst kind of snow. It was like, it was so cold, it didn't go anywhere, and it was ice. Just be grateful we live here now.
That was the thing about DC, is that it was mainly ice. Like so much would be ice. Or like it starts to melt and then it freezes overnight and be ice again. And yeah, that's
80% of the shoveling, and if you're listening, not watching, I'm doing air quotes because it wasn't really shoveling. It was more like I bought 30 bags of salt and dumped it everywhere because you can't really shovel ice. So the ice has to then melt, and then you get out the shovel and blah, blah, blah.
Again, don't miss.
All right, and as always, we're going to answer the people. So the question we've been getting most often lately is things to do in Sea Pines. So Jess, what are some things people need to know about Sea Pines?
There's tons to do in there. But first off, if you didn't know, if you're not staying in Sea Pines, you still can get in. There is a cash fee. It was $9. Some people have said it's gone up. And make sure you stay to the right. Also, to the left is the people that already have their passes. And you're going to hold everybody up, and they're not going to be happy about it. So make sure to stay to the right and cash. Key. Second is that you can get your $9 back at some of the restaurants that are in Sea Pines. There's only certain ones. And they are Fraser's, Coast, Harbor Town Bakery, Quarterdeck, and Lynx. And you have to spend $30 or more too. And you usually have to mention it to your server too. They don't just automatically know that you have paid the gate fee. So, fun little tip.
Another thing you should know about going through the gate is if you are staying in Sea Pines and have a pass, the way you actually go to get that pass is you turn right before the gate. It's probably 100 yards before the gate. You turn right into the Sea Pines Visitor Center, and you're going to do this big loop all the way around to the back of the building, where you're going to go up to what's basically a drive-through window, and they're going to give you your visitor pass.
Yes, definitely. So there's a big sign that says Sea Pines Visitor Center, but then that's it. You don't really know that you have to drive all the way around to the little window.
So many people drive up to that window in the right-hand lane, and they don't want to pay the cash fee because they are staying in Sea Pines, and then they get directed to go do this loop anyway. So that's how you get into Sea Pines. Once you get into Sea Pines, what are some of the things that people need to know about it?
There is a lot to do there. One of my favorite things to do is the Sea Pines Forest Preserve, which is a large area. There's so many walking paths. There's boardwalks over it. There's a vanishing swamp. There's Fish Island, where you can also do the alligator tour. And there's tons of bird watching, wildlife there. Then you have Harbor Town. Everybody knows that spot, the iconic lighthouse, which you can actually walk up. There's a little bit of a fee on each level. There's a bunch of history, and then you can go out at the very top observation deck, and it's very cool. You can see all the way around. Also in Harbor Town, everybody knows there's restaurants and shops there, but it's like one of the best playgrounds, I think, right there. It's huge. It's mostly shaded too. There's lots of equipment. There's also the Gregor Russell concerts right underneath the Liberty Tree there. They have other shows, concerts going on there too. Then you have Lawton Stables, which they have the small animal farm that you can buy a little cup and you can feed the animals. That's really fun. They have pony rides for the kids. There's actual horseback riding, which you go through the Sea Pines Forest Preserve. And there's also carriage rides too, which I think would be really romantic for the upcoming Valentine's Day. Intent. No.
I mean, and right next to Lawton Stables, you'll see just the tremendous amount of bike paths running through Sea Pines. There's 15 miles of bike paths. I think it's like from Lawton Stables down to the south end is like 5 miles. And then you can go all over to the different parts of Sea Pines. One of my favorite things to do is to go to the Plantation Golf Club. You can get a bag of range balls there, go out to the range, have lunch at Frazier's, hit balls. If you had your golf bag with you, you could take your putter and a couple of golf balls and go over to Harbor Town and putt on that green. You could grab lunch at the links. Another secret to the Harbor Town is that at the Harbor Town Clubhouse, you can actually get lunch in the men's locker room on the second floor. So if you go up to the second floor into the locker room where all the PGA Tour players go, you can have lunch there out on this amazing balcony looking out over the first tee and the ninth green and the putting green, the driving range. Absolutely spectacular. A lot of people don't know that.
Then there's also tons of cruises. So out of Harbor Town, out of South Beach Marina, Vagabond Cruises, there's dinner, there's sunset, there's dolphin cruises, there's the pirate cruise for kids. That's so much fun. There's kayaking, there's parasailing, so much water skis, so much you can do. There's of course, in the South Beach Marina, there's the Salty Dog, and they have a happy hour cruise too, a lot of fun. There's also a bunch, it's like a little village down there. It's a lot of fun. They have little shops, other little restaurants. There's ice cream. They do tie-dyeing. There are the parrots that you can go see. You can't touch them, but they talk and they're a lot of fun. They have some information about them.
Yeah, and there's also, Sea Pines is well known for its tennis, but recently they've also upped their pickleball game as well, as pickleball has just exploded. There's the Sea Pines Racket Club near Harbor Town, and then they're down on the south end, there's also pickleball courts as well. So you got tennis, pickleball, and then there's things like we've got the Sea Pines Beach Club and the shops at Sea Pines there as well.
Yeah, for the beach club, there's Coast. So you can sit and have lunch, dinner right on the beach. And the Ocean Lounge is right above it, and they have a little patio too. So definitely gorgeous view to eat there. And they also have a little free trolley. I forgot the name of it, but they do have a website and you can see the different stops. It's usually at the major shopping centers or the major attractions within Sea Pines. So that's a fun little, because it is pretty big to get around. So if you don't have a car, yes, there's biking and there's lots of bike rental places there, but it is exerting. So if you're a little tired, you can then take the trolley.